What would you do if you had the ability to bring someone you love back to life? How far would you go to resurrect this person? Would you manipulate, lie, or hurt others to get what you want? Would you even curse them if it meant getting what you desire? In the game I'll be recommending today, maybe you'll be able to find your answer. Hey, it's Nana Plays Games, aka MPG. This won't be a long video, I just wanted to yap about this underrated horror game I played 2 years ago and give it my best friend to play recently. I'll try not to put too many spoilers in case you want to play the game yourself. In Paranormicite, The 7 Mysteries of Hanjo, many characters are given the opportunity to bring one person of their choosing back to life. This is not free of cost, though, and they are required to curse others and cause their deaths utilizing something called a curse stone. The people who are given curse stones are called curse bearers. If a curse bearer curses people, their curse stone will be full of soul dregs, which can be used as an offering to bring back the dead, but only when the curse stone itself is completely filled. Curse bearers who curse regular humans only accrue minimal soul dregs, but cursing another curse bearer accrues a lot more. And to make things more complicated, the curse stone can only be activated and successfully kill someone if that person has fulfilled the curse stone's requirements. For example, one curse stone can be activated if a person who is interacting with the curse bearer walks away from them and abandons the interaction. Different curse stones need different requirements to be met in order to be activated, with some being easier to activate than others. I guess you could say the curse bearer would need to trap their victims or otherwise trick them in order to get them to fall victim to their curse. The curse stones are very interesting, sure, but of course the curse stones need bearers, people who use them without hesitation, or don't use them at all. In Paranormicite, there are many characters, all with their own values, desires, and personality quirks to keep you intrigued. These characters all have different things they're after, and their own paths that branch off or end depending on the choices you make. There are a lot of decisions to make, almost like those goosebumps you choose to scare books. Hopefully someone remembers those. In this game, it's not just about knowing what decisions to make, but when to make them. Actions have dire, downright unforgivable consequences. For example, towards the beginning of Yako's story, when Mio says to leave the school and not to come back in, listen. Speaking of which, I absolutely love that this game did not pull its punches. If you do something wrong, or to put it bluntly, stupid, it punishes you with a swift but violent death. This game is downright brutal, and there are many moments that unnerved me during my first playthrough. I guess because I'm really afraid of spirits, so maybe this game wasn't too great to play after I just finished Spirit Hunter. Or right before bed for that matter. While on this topic, I forgot to mention this, but there are spirits attached to the curse stones. So every time a character received a curse stone and a spirit suddenly popped up on screen, it scared the soul out of me. These spirits and their curses genuinely had me unable to sleep for a bit. The curses are positively horrifying, especially since there are some that are basically impossible to prevent, predict, or counter. Looking back, I was just kinda being a wuss, but this game is still pretty eerie. The aesthetic and overall atmosphere of the game is dark, dreary, and pretty depressing. Saying the town in which Paranormicite takes place in is a ghost town would be, well, both an understatement and literal. Anyway, I'm so awful at staying on topic, so back to the characters. The characters' stories are all connected to each other, so the routes can be impossible to get through without first completing another character's chapter. Yep, there's a story chart. This is part of why I said knowing when to make a decision is important, since the character you're playing as could maybe use as much info as they can get to avoid falling into dreadful situations. A lot of the time though, you won't know who to trust, who to talk to, or what to do, but that's part of the appeal. Playing the game knowing you might suddenly be cursed or otherwise killed at any moment was riveting. Not knowing when or if you should divulge information is nerve-wracking and something you need to think about, which I found pretty interesting. Off note, but this game is surprisingly cheeky sometimes. I won't spoil it, but during the first section of the game, you really need to think outside of the box in order to get yourself out of a really tight spot. Paranormicite's characters are compelling, engaging, and surprisingly endearing, not to mention they all have diverse motives that keep the player on their toes. I especially loved Harue. Her story is something I sympathize with a lot, and I honestly loved her very dynamic facial expressions. Alongside Mio, she's definitely my favorite. Other characters all have their charm too, and it definitely makes their demise a lot more jaw-dropping. Even so, the interactions between characters are sweet and sometimes hilarious, and for a game like this, these moments are much needed. Despite the game being so eerie at first, I feel like a certain way through it, it goes from being creepy horror to being more mystery thriller, but it's not a switch that bothered me. The horror wasn't gone, it was very much still there, so I had no problem with it. You'll be doing a lot of deciphering and trying to get through the puzzles the game lays out for you, so think of it as something akin to Danganronpa in that regard. Another thing I found pretty appealing is that the game has that retro 80s charm to it. Probably because, you know, the game takes place in the 80s. If you go in expecting that city pop vibe though, you're not gonna find it. It's a lot more mellow and it's honestly pretty bleak, in a good way. TVs are also used pretty interestingly in the game. Again, I won't get too into it, but keep this line in mind if you do play, okay? I'm gonna hurry and wrap things up before I go on a long-winded rant like I did with my Genosia video. The overall story of Paranormal Sight isn't perfect, nor is it the absolute best, but I definitely had my fun with it and can recommend it. It's something that'd be good to play in your free time, especially during spooky month. Anyway, what do you think of this video? Share your thoughts and opinions in the comments. Make sure to like and subscribe too. This is MPG, I'll catch you later. Peace!